Uh, there has been a lot of talk today about the need for behavioral changes in order to become more sustainable both within tourism and within the food industry. Can I start the presentation or? And I will give you a little dive into a new company that we have just founded. Mimir, where I work, have founded this together with Milena Nikolova, she has a PhD in how you can use behavioral techniques and behavioral economics, psychology, in order to develop tourism in a better direction. She held a presentation for students at Harvard today. She should be talking about the theory behind this. I will try to give you some examples, but she has also published a book about this, Behavioral Economics for Tourism. So it's possible to read more about, and I will also, in the end of my presentation, give you a link to a Swedish kind of handbook or manual where you can read more about this. But the thing is that it's not moving. Okay, so I will try to give some concrete examples of the behavioral design and the use of nudging techniques. But we'll start with the brain. And as I said, that's not my education. But if the easy version of it is that the brain has two systems. And think about how you do your own decisions when I explain this. There is this system 1. It looks for, we want to take decisions fast, based on shortcuts. We don't want to dive into everything. We just want a quick solution, find the best solution, and live with that. It's kind of the everyday solutions that we do. When we buy something, a new car or a new house, or we do a bigger decision that has bigger implications on our lives, we use what we call system 2. We analyze, we compare, we find out, we think, and that's the slow. It takes time, and it's maybe the best way to do solutions, but it's we are kind of equipped the way that sometimes we don't want to use this system too. It takes too much time, takes too much efforts. We want to find a good solution that we are confident with in a more easy way. And when it comes to tourism, it's also so that when we are on vacation, when we are travelers, we also kind of want to have things as simple as possible. We want to make good decisions that are good to us, but also we want to do them quick. We are on vacation, we are away from the daily life where we have to be, polite citizens and do everything correctly. So the tendency is that when we are on vacation or in a vacation mode, we tend to want to use this system 1 even more. So that's, and I'll explain, and I'll give you some concrete examples on this. But just to have the theory behind. And then, like a lot of the speeches today have been talking about this action gap between what we should do. We should eat more healthy food. We should be more sustainable travelers. We should recycle more. We know this. We know that we have to take care of this planet before everything goes wrong, but it's difficult to get from intention to action. And this is what we call cognitive dissonance. We know that we should do it, but we don't do it. And how can we start make people take more sustainable decisions, buy more local food, because they know that they should do it, and they know that this local food probably exists also when they are tourists somewhere. But there is some, and we all know, and a lot of the presenters today have been given examples on this, and there are reasons for this. There are reasons mentally. It's always difficult to change our habits and so on. It's social. Is it socially accepted to change lifestyle and become a vegetarian or whatever? Is it physical? Are we physically fit for this? We sell the car and buy a bicycle. And it takes more time. It's more hassle. I have to be more physically fit to exchange a polluting car with a bicycle. It's a lot of things, and also this situational that I told you about is related to being on a holiday. We want to be kind of in a holiday mode, away from daily life. And then it's sometimes we spend a lot of efforts in informing people what they should do. We give them all the choices, and I'm getting at it now. But we can also use techniques like nudging. We can also use choice management to help people and do it in a way that they feel that they are achieving something that reduces this cognitive dissonance, but we prepare for them to do it. This is some stairs in a subway in Daniel is it in Stockholm, where they painted the steps like a piano and added sound, because it's more healthy for people to walk the stairs than to use elevators and electrical stairs. So you can nudge people by giving them something, prepare for them to do these kind of choices that, yeah, it's good for your health to walk the stairs, and instead of informing people about it, you could do things like this. I'll give you some other examples. Also, when we have choices, if you give people too many choices, they hassle about the choices. They don't like it. It's too much. If you give them too few, they're also dissatisfied. We want to have a perfect number of choices. So to give people 3 things to choose about, 3 sizes, 3 alternatives is always good. It's better than 2. If it's more than 5, it becomes difficult, and people will probably not do the choice. And it's also, if you see the other one, is people are also, when they use this fast part of the brain, they will choose the middle one. So if you put something in the middle, people will probably choose it more, even though you change the sizes. This is the sizes of a cup of coffee, on-the-go coffee. People will still continue to choose the middle one, even though this is from testing, even though they increase the size of the middle one to become as big as the large one was in the first example. People continue to choose the middle one because they feel it's more safe. So this is mechanisms that we have in our heads, and so, and it comes to a menu, for instance, then. You have to think about how you present your menu. How many choices do you give people? What do you want to be the selling dish on that menu? How do you price it? How do you place it in order to be the chosen one? And this is interesting because there's a lot of examples that, for instance, you have a standard menu and you put a local dish in the end. And then if people have been reading through 6 or 7 standard dishes before they come to the local dish, they will probably not choose it. Because after 5 or 6 people will go back to the top and start reading again because they don't want to take into consideration all the possibilities. So if you want the local dish to be the favorite one, it should be on the top 3. And it should not be the most expensive one, but it could be the next. So probably on this menu, the second one, the $2.59 priced dish, will be the most sold one. This is not exact science, and you have to experiment with it. And you have to think about how consumers do their decisions. That's the whole point about this. What do you want them to buy? If you have an equal presentation of some offers, hiking, kayaking, and culinary experiences outdoor, is it equal for you which one they choose? Or do you want them to choose a special one? So then you have different techniques. You could present 5 different guided tours. The one containing also, for instance, a taste of local food could be the one you want to sell. Yeah, then you have to make some statement around it. Is it the most popular tour? Is it the children's favorite? Can you make it stand out from the others? So will people pay more attention to it? And they will probably also feel safe that, yeah, we'll choose the favorite. It must be good. All the others have chosen it. This is the way the fast brain works. So it's also about the pricing. Which kayaking activity, like the example here, do you want? Which one do you think will sell most on this menu? You think it will be the 3-day tour? If you introduce this in an area where people are not used to kayaking, what do you think they will do? They'll choose to try out one. So if that's what you want, because it's best for you to sell smaller trips around the lake for people who are not skilled, so you can design, and that's why I call it behavioral design. You can design, but you have to be conscious about it. And the point is that if there are more sustainable options, more and options that promote the use of local food, you should think about this before you present your offerings, before you design your menu. What do you want them to buy, and why should they buy it? And also, when it comes to combining food experiences with outdoor recreation, like we have a lot of in the Nordics, it's also interesting to see this survey from ATTA tour operators on an international level when they were asked why did they choose to implement meal experience into their offerings, who are mainly designed by nature and cultural experiences. They say it provides context. So it's also about, and it evokes memories, and I think it's a need for a discussion between the traditional tourism actors and also within nature-based activities and local food producers, how to implement local food as part of the offering. Because this gives also an opportunity to strengthen the whole experience. But you need maybe sometimes to say, it's in there, it's not a choice. We have put it in there because it strengthens the overall experience and it provides this context that will also increase the overall value and maybe also the willingness to pay for a tour like this. Because then we come to the power of default. It's the same that we have a tendency that we will do what is the default option. Because, and there's a lot of potential within this. In order to make the most sustainable choice, the default choice, and also if you want to stimulate local food demand. This is, you can tell people what about this. You know, all of you know this from being at hotels where they ask you to do things with the towel. Don't leave it on the floor. We will not change it unless you ask for it. And some of these, maybe it's not enough anymore. So you can by default you can say that we change towel every 3 days, and if you are not satisfied with that, you have to go to the reception and ask for new towels. Then people will keep their towels for 3 days. Most people will do that. That means that if you have a special dish or a special offering that you want to put on the menu, you must be brave enough to do that. You must say, we have a local dish, we have a vegetarian dish, we have a special dish. If you don't ask for something else, we'll give you that. For instance, children's menus. Sometimes a lot of restaurants, they will have local dishes for adults, but they have another menu for children. But you can say that you don't have a special menu for children. It's a smaller portion of the same dishes that the grown-ups get. That's the default option. So there's a lot of examples on how you can use default and how you can put that. I think that in Norway now, maybe next year, if you don't ask for, now you have to ask for an electric car at the car rental. This month, 90% of all cars sold in Norway were electric cars. I believe next year, maybe it will change. You have to ask for a polluting car, or else you will get an electric one. Because electric cars will be the default. Think about it. Okay. But like I said, you have to challenge yourself a little bit. But there are tools there, and there's a lot of examples that you can choose from. But there's also this publication made in Sweden, was made and developed in with the region of Westmanland together with Milena Nikolova, where they tested different challenges that the local tourism businesses had in that region, also with food. So it's you can download it also in English or in Swedish from this address and dive deeper into this. But to sum it all up, local food, to promote local food, think about what you present as the default option. Is it on the top of the menus? Is it integrated also in nature-based activities? Is it on every picture? The nudging effect of pictures is very, very, very strong. What people see in pictures, they imagine as the way they will discover and experience a region or a place. Is it integrated in the storytelling? Is it part of the overall experience design? There's a lot of possibilities there. Just think about it and try it out, test, measure, and read the Smart Way book. Thank you.